So I've been walking for about 5 minutes on a pretty long, stretchy walk with Cooley here today. And as you can see, he's very comfortable stretching forward, downward. I'm in this sort of loose shoulder to shoulder walk mode where I coordinate my upper body and my hands and my shoulders with the movement of his shoulders, and that's what I call the shoulder to shoulder walk. Every time my, let's say, right shoulder goes back, my right leg goes on. When the left shoulder goes back, the left lower leg goes on. Very friendly, non-intrusive, not very, tight leg contact. I always call it friendly legs, just to have the horse not feel that you're clamping down on them at all. And so once you're in this mode where you feel like your horse is starting to warm up nicely, 5 to 10 minutes, never a bad idea to do more than less. And now, before I even take the reins up very much, I want to ask Cooley to yield to my inside aids. And what that means is that I'm going to ask him to yield to the inside rein pressure while my lower leg is increasing sort of its input to a little bit more of a vibrational tabbing, or just a little bit of a asking with the lower leg that might happen. So what in fact I'm doing with this type of aid input is I'm going to ask him to step underneath himself a little bit more, especially on a circle like this, where the inside hind leg has to, carry a tiny little bit more weight, just because of the nature of riding on a circle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that inside rein for a moment and ask, you can see that, and then I want to feel that he's giving in the jaw, as you can see, and then he's going to drop his head. As soon as he drops, I'm going to go into very easygoing rein contact with both hands, and then I'm going to do it again. So it's just here's tension and not giving, and then asking with the inside leg, waiting, and there's the release in the jaw, which means one little chew, and then usually that is followed. If it doesn't follow right away, I'll ask again with a little bit of a lower, nice reach. The neck is dropping, nose is out, and then both hands give and take. I will do this either, on a circle, can do it on a smaller circle or on a bigger circle, or on serpentine. So I'm going to do it one more time. There you go. There's a release, dropping, and then just ever so slightly rein contact with both hands giving and taking, both hands taking back when our belly button is swinging forward. And that creates a really, really such a nice way of getting started with him before we even really get serious about any kind of other rein contact. So I'm going to change directions here. Let him do it one more time to this side. Now I'm going to do it to the other side. So I'm going to just hold that rein. If you don't get it, this horse knows this exercise, so he's reasonably, collaborative about the whole thing. But if you have a horse that you're starting out and hasn't done this before, and you feel that they're just kind of hanging there, and you hold the inside rein and there's nothing happening, and you're asking with your inside leg, and then there's nothing happening, then you could use your whole hand and change the angle. The outside rein is completely loose. Just a little, it helps a little bit sometimes maybe to just stabilize. But what you want to do is, and he just did this, he gave the release again, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a straightening and two-handed, two-sided rein contact at the same time. Then I'm going to ask again, and if there's lifting of the head up or not giving in the jaw, which he is doing this so readily now, I'm just demonstrating, you can take the hand inward, you can take it forward and up, you can take it this way, that way, just not back. Back pulling always feels to the horse like there's no way out. But when you have this kind of, I'm going to have him just go straight here for a moment again. When you have this kind of conversation with the horse, you're basically just saying, hey, how about you loosen your jaw a little bit for a moment? And if you can't do it easily this way, then I'm going to change the angle of the bit in your mouth a little bit. And you can see how my outside hand, just momentarily and ever so gently, just creates a wider corridor of the rein contact that he's feeling. So it's very easy for the horse to say, oh, now that you're putting a little bit of contact on different parts of my mouth, the inside rein, I just keep doing it like this one more time. He drops, and then there's your nice, look at that. That is such a nice way of making the horse understand what we want in the warm-up, in the walk. And then it's an easy thing to take that into the trot. Now I'm going to take very gradually up a little bit on the reins, just caterpillar up without being too, sudden about making it anything more than just a regular working contact. And he's just like, oh my God, is something happening? No, nothing. And I'm just going to do the same thing here. A little bit more contact. There you go. Always connect the rein aid with your seat. So now as I take the reins up, he's getting a little bit more he anticipates a little bit. He's just saying, what's going on here? Are we going to do anything scary? No. And you see how I'm in a very nice, even rein contact with him here. But every once in a while, I'm just going to ask again to yield to the inside aids, inside leg and inside rein pressure. And there's beautiful giving in the jaw happening here. When he does that, I straighten him and both hands give and take. And that is for him just to reassure him that we're not going to box him in any way. And this horse is a 3-day eventing horse. He's an Irish sport horse. He's sort of easily fired up about things. So it's always important, I'm going to change directions here again, always important to reassure him that every time we change something, there's no reason to be nervous about anything. So here's, even in this turn, I'm making it the same idea. I always, whenever I turn, I'm going to try and say, either when I ride corners too, I can show you, say rather than a circle, I'm going to ride a square right now. Make a little bit of a turn. Inside leg asks a little bit quicker. He chews. No big deal. So, and there's contact the corner again. Bend the horse, give with the outside rein. Inside leg asks. And there's a nice, beautiful release in the jaw. And we'll do it one more time here. Nice clean corner. Inside hand gives, opens a little bit. Inside leg asks a little bit more. You have the dropping, straightening. And of course, this doesn't always happen right off the bat that easily with every horse. You have to show them a little bit, have a little bit of patience, and then the horse will understand. But that is ultimately how you want to ride, especially in the beginning education of a horse. A corner, always think, you're going to take any corner or any little bit of a serpentine or half circle as an opportunity to ask the horse to yield to your aids, meaning the inside rein and the inside leg. And so right now this looks sort of pretty obvious. When you ride this in a more advanced way, it ultimately translates into just a tiny little bit more inside leg and a little squeeze on the inside rein. And the horse will give in the jaw, and you will have a beautiful, supple horse without any blockades in any situation. It doesn't matter if it's in the walk, in the trot, in the canter. It's always the same. So here, we do it one more time. I'm going to change directions again. And I'm going to put him back onto the circle here for a moment. So I want to show you how this translates also into up and down transitions, especially with horses that are, a little bit tense and that sometimes have a tendency to bring their heads up. in the trot transitions or in the canter transitions. So basically, what you're doing is you're gonna ask for the inside to yield, for him to yield to the inside aids, and then as you hold him here and he's giving in the jaw, you're gonna give with the lower legs a little bit of an aid to go into just a few steps of sitting trot. And breathe out in the down transition, of course, breathing in the up transition, and then straightening him a little bit right after he gives in the jaw. And that is such a nice way for the horse to understand that here's the jaw giving here, and then as soon as I'm in the trot, I'm straightening him a little bit. Breathe out, use a little bit of knee pressure. Yeah, now he's getting a little bit to a point where he's thinking, oh, we're gonna trot for real for a little bit longer. I'm gonna do one more of these sitting trot transitions, just a few steps. It's really important that you don't do too much sitting trot, especially when the horse isn't warmed up yet. 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 steps. Back to walk. And then you can take this whole principle into the posting trot. But before I do that, I want to show you one more thing. So talking about yielding to the inside aids, that is the beginning part of this. And then ultimately, you can also use the same principle and use it to yield to the outside aids. So that means on a circle, I'm going to hold the outside rein a little bit tighter without giving at all until the horse yields in the jaw. I sit a little bit more to the inside while my outside leg, which you can't see right now, but it's doing the same thing that the inside leg was doing a while ago. It vibrates a little quicker as I'm asking, and then he gives in the jaw. Yeah, he now thinks trot, that's okay. As soon as he gives, he gets back to lowering, stretching forward, downward. Both hands give and take to an elastic rein contact. And again, it's the same principle, but it asks the horse to stay supple. So I'll do it again one more time here. Outside rein increases the pressure, and I don't give to the horse until he gives in the jaw to me, and only ever do this in combination with your leg aids. It's not an individual only rein aid type of exercise. Look at that. That's a really beautiful giving in the jaw and content chewing. And there's this beautiful contact that you can create sort of just by saying to the horse, here, engage your inside or outside hind leg, because I'm asking with my inside or outside lower leg, and then increase a little bit of, again, vibrational inside, straighten him right after he chews, and there you go, right? And then you take that idea into the posting trot. I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Up transition. There you go, very nice and easy. And then I'm going to just keep that same idea of holding the inside rein a little bit, asking a little bit more with more emphasis on the inside leg. And then when he's ready, he can stretch forward, downward, and then I straighten him. And it's a very minimal trot in the beginning that I ask from the horse. And you see my outside hand right now stabilizing him a little bit. So he's not just, left alone, because in the trot you have a suspension phase. You want to make sure the horse has support of both rein aids, both reins, that you feel it between both of your knees, both of your lower legs, that you're sitting fairly easily at this point because it's a warm-up posting trot, and that your inside shoulder is a little bit farther back than your outside shoulder to help him understand what the direction is that you're aiming for, right? So here is this, and then you can also do the same thing with yielding to the outside. So I'm just holding the outside weight a little bit tighter, stabilize with a wider inside hand right now. And you see how he's ever so buttery and chewing and dropping his neck. I'm going to do it one more time to the inside. So, and you can, that clicking that you're hearing is him chewing, and I love that because there is really no such thing as chewing too much unless it's a nervousness, which is then you can feel the horse chewing much faster and clicking with the teeth. But he's just, look, there's the outside, flexing to the outside. It's almost like both hands are going to my left right now to help him still, have balance between both my legs, both my knees, both my hands. And I straighten him a little bit. And that is a beautiful way to get your riding session started. And then, usually I do this on a large figure of either 8 or serpentine pattern, or any kind of random pattern with half circles and straight lines and curves and corners, and the possibilities are endless. But that just I wanted to tell you about yielding to the inside and outside aids. Thank you, Cooley.